So hello, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Kim. I'm a registered holistic nutrition consultant, and I'm also a certified metabolic balance coach. So I put this clip together just to offer up a little bit more information on a program that I work a lot with called Metabolic Balance. So metabolic balance isn't a good fit for everyone. However, it's still really my best tool for helping clients quickly and efficiently reach their health goals. So I suggest grabbing a paper and pen and jot down any questions, and I'm just going to walk you through the nitty-gritty of the program. So metabolic balance was originally designed by or developed by a German doctor named Dr. Funfack. And originally he put the program together in order to help his clients deal with inflammation and to help reverse something called metabolic syndrome. So one of the side effects that Dr. Funfack noticed was that his clients were shedding weight. So some of the things that respond really well to the metabolic balance program are what you see on your screen. So for any weight loss goals, any conditions that involve blood sugar dysregulation, anything inflammatory, so pain, inflammation, and I'm going to even add autoimmune conditions respond really well. They tend to fall into the kind of inflammation category. Anything digestive, so digestive disorders, IBS, IBD, Crohn's disease. There is a really strong, I like to integrate a really strong kind of digestion component throughout the coaching as an RHN. That is really where my training lies. Hormones, sleep, mood, and energy will all be affected by the food conversion, and I'm going to talk more about all of this. So metabolic balance is basically an individualized nutrition program that comes with a coaching aspect. So what you will get is a personalized nutrition plan that is generated based on blood values. So we will require a little bit over 30 blood values on your health conditions, any medication that you may be taking, your measurements, likes and dislikes, even what you do for a living is taken into consideration. So it's a very individualized program. The philosophy behind the program is really, so every individual is capable of producing all of the hormones and enzymes that are required for a balanced metabolism. What does that mean? It means that we are assuming that we all have what it takes. We have all of the enzymes and hormones required to be balanced and healthy and well. It's really about giving our bodies the right elements, so the right fuel. Okay. I'd like to add here that the program is completely based on wholesome natural foods. So there are no proprietary foods, powders, pills, shakes, bars. So everything you need, you will be able to get at the grocery store or at your local farmer's market. So the pillars that metabolic balance rests on are really the three following things. So the first thing we're going to be doing, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, is really balancing those insulin levels. This is a huge part of the puzzle. Okay. Improving digestion, as I mentioned, as an RHN, that's where I shine. Digestion is fundamental in order to be able to fully metabolize and get the best of those beautiful, wholesome foods that we're going to be talking about. And the third thing is really improving elimination. So that is, making sure that toxins are moving out and making sure that everything is running smoothly. So the cravings is something that I hear a lot about. I would say that most of my clients report significant improvements in cravings or reduction in cravings. Cravings can be caused by several factors, and however, the most important is probably insulin. So again, here, cravings are much less about willpower and much more about what you're eating. So going back to this blood sugar dysregulation, we can also use the term insulin resistance here, high insulin levels in the body. It all kind of boils down to the same thing. So what I want to get across here is that these high insulin levels will have the following impact on your body, okay? So they are going to drive up cravings. So this is a physiological phenomenon that's going on. It's not about willpower. It will drive up cholesterol levels, triglyceride. It's going to have an impact on those stress hormones that then have an impact on especially belly fat. Fat synthesis. Insulin is a fat stockpiling hormone, right? And so it's very easy to put on weight when insulin levels are out of whack, and very, very difficult to drop weight when this is going on, right? There's also an inflammatory kind of component to this high insulin. So inflammation is also driven up when insulin levels are high. So I hope you're seeing that there's this really big connection. On the flip side, when insulin levels are high, it tends to drive down natural melatonin. Melatonin is our sleep hormone. We don't want these hormones. We don't want this hormone going down. DHEA and human growth hormone are the sex hormones. DHEA is the precursor to progesterone and testosterone. Again, we don't want these hormones going down. And as I mentioned, very, very difficult to lose weight if we're not addressing insulin. All right. So I hope you're getting the picture here that although metabolic balance is promoted primarily as a weight loss program, I really look at it as my prevention program. So weight loss is just a lovely kind of side effect. However, what we're doing for overall health is really what kind of gets me jazzed. So the hibernation principle, I put this in here just to kind of drive home this insulin story. So if we think about animals that hibernate, what is it that triggers or drives these animals to really kind of start eating and really stockpile and put away those kind of reserves that they're going to need, fat reserves that they're going to need to be able to overwinter, right? So if we think about foods that are commonly available in fall time, you are going to think about grains and combines in the field. You're going to think about orchards full of ripe, sweet fruit. Grains, I mentioned the grains, gourds, squash, basically a lot of these berries, a lot of these higher carbohydrate foods become available in the fall time, right? So they're certainly not bad foods. However, these higher carbohydrate foods will drive up insulin levels, right? It's just what carbohydrates do. Carbohydrate can be translated as sugar, and sugar will drive up insulin. Now, as we saw earlier, higher insulin levels will drive cravings, and cravings will make you eat more and stockpile a little bit more fat. So what I'm really hoping to illustrate with this is perhaps to be able to just change the lens through which, some of you may be viewing your body. A lot of people I meet feel betrayed by their bodies, and some of them have been in a lifelong struggle with themselves. So I hope this concept just kind of helps to illustrate just how amazing our bodies are, and perhaps we just need to adjust how we build our plates so that our plates don't always look like fall time. So metabolic balance is a really great tool to help you learn how to build that plate, and a plate that's exactly right for you as well. So it's really a great kind of launching point. So I hope this all makes sense. I do want to touch quickly on inflammation because it's really a widespread phenomenon. And basically what's going on here is if you take any kind of poor quality, highly processed, junky fat, so refined foods, processed foods, fast foods, those fats combined with this insulin story that we've been talking about, these high insulin levels, the result is inflammation, all right? Now, so how does it all work? So now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Basically, we will require blood tests. If you're in Quebec, I will provide you with a requisition that you will need to get signed by your family doctor and then take that to a private lab to get the blood draw. If you're anywhere else in Canada, I will provide you with a requisition that's been signed by our metabolic balance doctor, and you will be able to go to a private lab and get the blood tests done. I would like to mention here that the blood tests are used exclusively to generate the nutrition plan. So they're not used to diagnose in any shape or form. Interpreting blood values is outside of my scope of practice. So again, the blood tests are really just used to generate the nutrition plan. So the blood tests combined with a whole bunch of information that I will gather up through intake forms, such as measurements, health conditions, likes and dislikes. So we really get a really very complete picture. I enter this into the system, and a metabolic balance plan is generated in Germany. So I am not generating the metabolic balance plan, and I don't know what will come up on your plan as far as foods. And again, as I mentioned, the metabolic balance plan comes with a coaching aspect. So it's not possible to get a plan without that coaching component. So the program is divided into 4 phases. Phase 1 is basically a preparation phase. It lasts 2 days. The purpose of phase 1 is really to alkalinize the body. And it's just a really great preparation for the phases, for the following phases that come after. So it is, you will not be starving on this during this phase. You'll be eating light soups, stir fries, salads. But basically vegetable meals, again, just to alkalinize the body and really set it up for the nice conversion. So I will help with recipes and getting you prepared for all of this. We will have already spent quite a bit of time together to get you prepared for this phase 1 and phase 2. Now, phase 2 is also called the strict conversion phase, which can sound a little bit scary. So it lasts 14 days. It is the only time that I really want clients to be in diet mentality. So just to be clear, I am really, really not about diets. However, during this little strict phase that lasts 14 days, we're really going to be aiming for perfection during this time. So what that means, you will be weighing your food, you're going to be following the exact foods on your plan, and I'm going to show you examples of what all of that means in a few slides. Following the 8 guidelines. You won't be cooking with added oils or fat during this time. So no olive oil or butter, for example. It's really important for me to mention here that Metabolic Balance is not a low fat or no fat program in any shape or form. We acknowledge how important fats are for a healthy diet. However, for this short period, that is going to be what's required, which also means that eating out and restaurant food is very, very difficult when we're omitting the fats. So strict phase 2 is a phase where you will be really deepening connections. So I encourage through the coaching, I will be encouraging you to really make those deep connections with your body and what's going on with this metabolic conversion, all right? So this phase ends up being a really good detox phase. It becomes kind of an elimination diet depending on what foods appear or don't appear on your plan. And again, it's only 14 days, but it is important to create a little bit of space. So we should technically have an extra phase here that is called phase 2 relax. So after the 14 days, we will meet and introduce the healthy fats back in. So butter, olive oil will come back in. And at this point in the plan, we can start to flex a little bit and start to make your plan a little bit more livable and doable, right? So we're moving towards more and more sustainability. We are going to start introducing kind of a weekly discovery meal or treat meal, whichever way you want to call it, so that so that you never feel deprived, and also to help you really deepen the connections. So these discovery meals are really great to kind of see how your body reacts to foods that maybe haven't been in your life for a couple of weeks. So this is always kind of a big eye opener for clients. So basically, the minimum amount of time that I keep people in phase 2 strict and relaxed, so those combination of phase 2, is never less than 6 weeks. So just depending on what your health goals are, we are going to come up with a clear plan of how we move forward. Phase 3 is an important phase. So phase 3 is really once you're close to your health goal. And phase 3 is all about kind of testing and playing. So we're stretching those guidelines even more. We're bringing in all healthy, wholesome foods, and really, again, deepening the connection. So at this point, you're an expert and you have some really, really great tools in your arsenal. So phase 3 is really just going to be kind of deepening those connections, and just seeing how far we can push things without the body kind of turning and bringing back some of the undesirable symptoms or weight gain or whatever it is that you're working on. We can occasionally put clients in phase 3 if there are vacations or if life gets in the way. So these are all kind of options that are available. Phase 4 is all about long-term maintenance. So at this point, you've fully integrated the lifestyle guidelines, you've made a lot of connections, and again, you have a whole new arsenal of tools in your tool belt. So, health is a one-way street. So once you've felt what it feels like to feel better and to have more energy and just kind of moving in that direction, then it's very hard to go back, especially when you've done the work of really kind of paying attention. What's really great about metabolic balance is that you always have this template to come back to. So folks often can cycle back to phase 1 and phase 2 if they feel the need, moving forward. So after holidays, after vacations, it's sometimes nice just to kind of touch back, just kind of bring things back into alignment. Or of course, if any of the red flag symptoms or weight starts coming back. So it's a really great kind of launch point or springboard, if you will. So I mentioned the 8 guidelines. I would like to, so there are 8, these are just 4, just to kind of give you a quick overview. The 8 guidelines are all designed to either help balance those insulin levels, improve digestion, or improve elimination. So those 3 pillars we touched on at the beginning are really what the 8 rules are in service of, okay? So one of them, for example, is that you will only be eating 3 meals a day, so there's no snacking with metabolic balance. We're going to ensure a nice break between meals, so a full 5 hours between meals. So this is kind of building in a little bit of intermittent fasting into the program. It is wonderful for resensitizing those cells to insulin, bringing those insulin levels down. It's also really great for digestion and allowing the body to fully digest the previous meal, which frees up a lot of energy in the body for housekeeping, for detoxification, for all of the processes that need to happen. The third one I have here is that we're going to have 1 type of protein at each meal, and I am going to discuss this in much detail, so it will all be clear to you, but essentially we're not going to stack proteins. So what that means is we're not going to combine, for example, eggs and bacon would be 2 proteins, ham and cheese would be 2 proteins. So we're going to avoid doing that too much, especially during the first little phase. And this will really kind of help keep the body in that more alkaline base, and it especially helps with inflammation. So The final one is just drinking water. So everyone gets a water prescription on their plan. Water is crucial for long-term weight maintenance if weight is one of your goals, and for overall detoxification. So water is super important. So here is a meal plan example. So this is a plan that I just borrowed from one of my clients. It, as you can see, has very specific quantities associated to the foods, all wholesome natural foods. And we've got that 5 hours built in between meals. So if we look at this client's food list, here are her protein foods. So, and this is different for each person. And again, I never know what is going to show up on a client's plan unless we block categories, which is a possibility. So these are the foods that came up for this client. So you will notice that she didn't get any cow dairy. So she got goat yogurt, she got buffalo cheese, buffalo mozzarella, feta cheese, and goat cheese, sheep feta and goat brie. So again, I really asked her to follow these recommendations for that little strict conversion phase. However, as we move forward, for sure, we are going to test bringing in all wholesome natural foods. So cow dairy will come in, but we're going to really do it systematically and pay attention to what's going on with the body. All right. So that's kind of big picture what we're doing with the program. So again, I don't ever want my clients to be stuck in any kind of diet mentality or weighing their food forever or stuck with a restricted food list. That is absolutely not the goal. Metabolic balance, again, is really just kind of a starting point. So these are the carbohydrate foods. The vegetables are in the carbohydrate category, and you see that there are very specific vegetables. Again, this is what you will be following, or this is what this client had to follow during her strict phase. You will have your specific list of vegetables that are, selected based on all of the parameters that we collected. This is kind of an approach that uses food therapeutically. So it's a very interesting approach, but my experience is that it works really, really well. So I hope that that was clear. Please reach out if you have any questions. I encourage you to go to my website, so www.nutritionlecuyer.ca. I have client highlights that might interest you in the blog section. So I occasionally write little stories with my clients' permission on their journeys, and I also have testimonials on the website as well that can maybe help out. So I look forward to meeting you during our discovery call, and I thank you very much.